The intercom rang at 12:45 a.m. Not the lobby buzzer, not the front door. The internal intercom, the one that connects individual units. I was standing in the building's small management office, halfway through a cup of bad coffee, when the speaker on the wall crackled and chimed softly. I froze, because the building was supposed to be quiet after midnight, and because the call didn't list a unit number. I worked nights as the on-site manager for a mid-sized apartment building downtown. 12 floors, about 100 units. Old enough to have character, new enough that most of the systems were automated. Key fobs, security cameras, digital intercom tied into a central panel. Most nights were boring. I handled late deliveries, noise complaints, and the occasional tenant who locked themselves out. After midnight, things slowed down completely, which is why the intercom ringing, especially without a unit number, didn't make sense. I picked up the receiver and said, "Management." Static. Then a faint clicking sound, like someone pressing buttons on the other end. "Hello?" I tried again. No response. After a few seconds, the line disconnected. The panel returned to its idle screen. I shrugged it off. Old buildings do strange things. Maybe a unit buzzed by accident. Maybe a wiring hiccup. I went back to my coffee. 10 minutes later, it rang again. Same tone, same blank display. I answered faster this time. "Management. Which unit is this?" Silence. Then breathing. Not loud, not exaggerated, just the sound of someone holding the receiver too close. I waited. The breathing stopped. The line disconnected. I checked the system logs. The intercom recorded every call. Time, unit, duration. The last two entries were there. Time stamps matched, but the origin field was empty. I stared at the screen longer than I should have. An empty origin field didn't mean unknown. It didn't mean error. It meant the system had processed the call, but hadn't assigned it a source. I pulled the printed documentation binder from the office drawer and flipped through the section on internal routing. It was old, written back when the system still relied on physical panels and hardwired logic. Every call had to originate somewhere, a unit panel, a lobby station, or a maintenance port. There was no category for blank. I scrolled further through the logs and noticed something else. Before each call reached my desk, I briefly checked multiple units in rapid succession, like it was testing paths before choosing one. The calls weren't random, they were optimized. Not unknown, not error, just blank. I told myself I was overthinking it. I'd worked long shifts before. Lack of sleep messes with your perception. I decided to do a walkthrough and clear my head. The hallways were quiet. Most lights dimmed automatically after midnight. Carpets muted my footsteps. The building felt normal, settled. I passed vacant units marked for renovation, locked, dark, nothing out of place. When I got back to the office, the intercom was already ringing. This time, the display showed a number, Unit 1104. I frowned. Unit 1104 had been vacant for months. The tenant moved out suddenly. No forwarding address. No contact. The unit had been sealed until renovations could start. I picked up the receiver slowly. "Management," I said. The voice on the other end was quiet but clear. "Hello?" I felt a strange wave of relief wash over me. At least it was a voice. "Yes," I said. "This is management. How can I help you?" There was a pause. Then the voice said, "I can't get out." My grip tightened on the receiver. "Can you explain what you mean?" I asked. Another pause. "I followed the instructions," the voice said. But the door didn't open. The words were calm, not panicked, not confused, like someone reporting a minor inconvenience. "Which door?" I asked. The line went silent. then disconnected. I stared at the intercom panel, waiting for it to ring again. It didn't. Instead, the system log updated. 12:45 a.m. Call received, Unit 1104. Duration, 23 seconds. I pulled up the unit status. Vacant. No power. Intercom disabled. I pulled up the maintenance history for Unit 1104. The breaker had been shut off months earlier. No active circuits. No voltage readings. No reason for anything inside that apartment to respond. And yet, the intercom system treated it like a functioning endpoint. I checked another vacant unit. Same result. Then another. It wasn't using just one empty apartment. It was using all of them, every silent space in the building, as if silence itself counted as availability. Or it was supposed to be. I went up to the 11th floor. The elevator ride felt longer than usual. The hum of the cables sounded louder. When the doors opened, the hallway lights flickered once, then steadied. Unit 1104 was at the far end. The door was locked. Cold to the touch. No sound from inside. I knocked once. Nothing. I knocked again, harder. Still nothing. I checked the intercom panel outside the unit. Dark. No power. As I turned to leave, the hallway intercom speaker above me clicked. "Please respond," the voice said. Not from the unit, from the ceiling. I stepped back, heart racing. "Who is this?" I asked. The speaker crackled. "I used the correct code," the voice replied. "It worked before." I went back downstairs. I locked the office door behind me and pulled up the full system diagnostics. Power levels, access logs, intercom routing. Unit 1104 showed no outgoing calls, but the central system showed calls being routed through it, like it was acting as a pass-through. I scrolled further back. The first anomaly appeared 3 nights earlier. One call, same time window, same blank origin. Then another the next night. Always after midnight. Always when I was on shift. At 1:18 a.m., the intercom rang again. This time it showed Unit 0312, another vacant unit. Different floor. I answered. "Management," I said. The voice came through immediately. "Thank you," it said. "You're closer now." I felt my stomach drop. "Closer to what?" I asked. There was a faint tapping sound, like knuckles on plastic. "The panel," the voice said. "The one you're looking at." I slowly turned my head toward the intercom system on the wall. The lights on the panel flickered, then steadied. The call disconnected. I powered the system down, pulled the breaker. The panel went dark. The office lights stayed on. The intercom rang anyway. The sound didn't come from the panel. It came from the hallway speaker outside the office door. I didn't answer that one. I sat there, listening to it ring. After 4 chimes, it stopped. Then the speaker crackled. "You can still hear me," the voice said. "That means it still works." I didn't respond. The voice continued. "Someone has to answer." When the intercom rang again, it showed my own extension number. I stared at it for a long time before answering. "Yes," I said quietly. The voice sounded closer now. "You usually do this part faster," it said. My chest tightened. "What part?" I asked. There was a pause. Then, the unlocking. I checked the access logs. Several doors showed brief unlock attempts over the past hour, none successful, all originating internally. That's when I noticed the timing. The access requests didn't just happen randomly throughout the night. They clustered around my routine. They started shortly after I sat down at the desk. They stopped when I stood up. They resumed when I returned. It wasn't just using the intercom system. It was reacting to me. Like it had learned that after midnight, I was the last point of approval left in the building. Not the manager. Not the system. Me. No fob ID. No keypad input. Just requests. The intercom rang one last time. Unit number displayed, 1104. I didn't answer. Instead, I watched the logs update in real time. Access requested, denied, access requested, denied. Then, access pending. The system hesitated, like it was waiting for confirmation. I unplugged the intercom receiver from the wall. The ringing stopped. The hallway speaker clicked softly. "Tomorrow night," the voice said. Not threatening. Assured. I finished my shift without incident. Morning staff arrived. The building filled with noise and light. Everything looked normal. I checked the logs one last time before leaving. The final entry from overnight read, 12:45 a.m. Internal communication initiated source. Authorized no unit number, no user, just that word. I still work nights in that building. The intercom doesn't ring every night, but when it does, it's always after midnight, and it always waits for me to answer.